Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Game Master Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today I'm going to do a continuation of my coverage of Wild Frontiers RPG. This is based on the Dungeon Crawl Classics game system, and it is a game that I will be running for the first time at ShireCon September 15th, the night of September 15th. And then I have the rest of the convention where I'm playing in some other games on the Saturday. Uh, Really excited about this game. Really excited to be running it. I'm doing so much prep work for it, from buying figures and getting my set pieces all ready to go for having a decent display on the gaming table. The game filled up, so I was looking for 5 players, and it filled up within 8 hours or so. So really high demand for this game system as well. So really looking forward to it. And so what I figured I would do now is, as part of my preparation, I also want to continue doing my coverage on the channel for Weird Frontiers and then some other game systems along the way between now and end September 15th. So I have about a month to continue covering both this game and quite a few others before I get right into the convention season. So without further ado, let's start taking a look at Weird Frontiers Chapter 3, The Rules. I haven't quite decided how far I'm going to go through the rules. I'm going to kind of gauge the time because I don't want this video to be tremendously long. And I might have to break up the rules as I'm going through. Again, this is unscripted, so I'm just going right off the PDF and let's see how far we can get. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And so this is the Chapter 3, The Rules. Love the art in this game system, this game book. Now, as you can see, it's 908 pages long. This is a huge, huge PDF. The books themselves are tremendously thick, and I'll show you those after I've wrapped up here with the PDF. So we're going to get right into the rules. So here we have ability checks. And the ability checks are based on your character's ability score. And then you're going to roll a d20 modified by any positive or negative modifiers attached to the ability being used. So fairly simple thing. Difficulty levels, not every task should be one you have to roll to succeed. Otherwise, you'd never get saddled up and headed out after, things would be itching to fill with lead. So use some common sense and everything. And that's a thing that I think is really important to emphasize to newer game masters in particular, is to try to limit your dice rolling and ability checks or skill checks or whatever to instances where where failure is possible and important, and where success is the quality of success is also very important for the task as well. So getting up and putting on your boots should not require a skill check, right? You really can't fumble and kill yourself doing it, although I'm sure some could argue that they nearly have. But for the most part, you're going to use common sense and set the difficulty to a reasonable amount, or to a point where it's not even necessary to roll. So sample difficulties, a DC 5 takes tasks are so easy, a kid wet behind the ears could do it. I wouldn't even have players roll a DC 5. There's no reason for that task coming up there unless there's a true consequence for failure. But I don't see the point in rolling a DC 5. A DC 10 is kind of a real work task. It's probably the most common that you're going to see. So weak and unskilled could not likely achieve these tasks. But for the most part, that becomes a common number. DC 15 tasks are feats that can present quite a pickle. All right, and then 20 is heroic kind of tasks. Skills. So in this game, you have occupations, and occupations come with a variety of skills. All right, and so some of them are unique and some of them are shared, but for the most part, skills are trained. Use a d20 plus the ability modifier versus a DC set by the judge. That's a difficulty level, or it could be contested as well. So trained skill uses that ability modifier versus a DC set by the judge. Untrained skills are a D10 plus the ability modifier versus the DC set by the judge. Matching or beating the DC of the skill checks results in a success. All right, so so you can not only limit the chances by just putting a higher DC, but you can also, in untrained, they're only rolling a D10 plus their ability modifier. So you can imagine how hard a DC 10 task, if you are untrained and have very few modifiers, that becomes a nearly impossible task. So there you go. Contested roles. Situations can arise where characters will have to match their skill and abilities against those who are working against them. In such case, each side rolls using one of the above methods. The side with the highest roll total and still beats the DC wins the contest. In some cases, opposed ability checks may not have a set DC. Two cowpokes arm wrestling in a saloon would decide the winner by simply having the higher roll. A sin eater trying to get the jump on a nasty spirit while in the spirit world would use their agility while the spirit would use its intelligence. And so you would have two different contesting roles, roles being made against each other with different modifiers potentially. Assisting skills and ability checks. If you find yourself facing overwhelming odds while trying to accomplish a task, a helping hand is often just what you need to get over the hump. Typically, up to 4 allies may assist a character attempting the skill or ability check. In the case of the skill test, allies must be trained at the skill to assist. Each helper grants a +1 bonus to the roll made by the characters receiving help. Learning new skills. There may come a time when a character wants to learn a new skill not normally in their repertoire. Skills are generally limited to each character's 0-level occupation and chosen class, but if Sam the Barber wishes to take up dentistry, characters wishing to learn a new skill should be given the opportunity. To learn the new skill, the player should first announce their intent to the judge, who then will determine what would be required to begin learning rudimentary skills such as tying rope knots, cooking, sewing, and so on. Let me just take a moment to pause here. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Let's see, where did I leave off? So learning new skills, once conditions are set by the judge are met, the character must spend time during studying or practicing at least one per session, 1 hour minimum for a number of sessions as determined by the judge. Once the time has been spent in practice, the character may increase their untrained skill check die from 1 step, so +1d. And they should note it on their character sheet to keep track of the progression. Continued practice results in a further 1d on the dice chain until the character reaches a d20. it is now considered a skill considered skilled at the task. Okay, so combat, we're going to get into combat. Below you'll find the basic rundown of how combat works in Weird Frontiers. And let's see, before I go a deep dive into combat, let me see if we're going to go into a whole new section. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave it here and go into combat in a totally separate video, because it is quite extensive, and I think just covering skills at this point is fine. So as you can see, just doing, talking about the skills and skill checks and how to utilize your skills and contested skills, and then learning new skills. You can see it's quite complex, but it is fairly easy to implement. Sorry, fairly easy to implement it. Pretty straightforward stuff. I mean, you're making only necessary rolls. You're going to have a challenge rating that you're trying to beat. If you roll it, roll your d20 plus your modifier. If you meet or beat your challenge rating, then you've successful. If you fail it, you fail it. There are critical hits and critical misses, which I'll go into in greater detail later on. But the skill system is really pretty straightforward, and so should be fairly easy for you to pick up on and to learn from. So I did mention that I wanted to, show off a few things that are necessary for this. Now, of course, this game system, you're going to be using the specialty dice for Dungeon Crawl Classics. There's actually 14 die in that specialty set. It includes the normal 7 and then an additional 7, which are kind of weird-sided dice and such. And I will show that off in the next video, because I have them all packed up in my, suitcase ready to go, actually. But here is the core rulebook, and you can see this thing is really quite massive. And it is, the core rulebook itself is over 400 pages. I want to say it's about 472 pages before you get to the character sheets and such. So 472 here, and then it's another 400 plus or 390-ish or somewhere around there for the spell book, the spell tomb. So this is the magic tomb. All right, so this gets into a variety of other things. And I haven't even gotten to talking about this book just yet. But in that PDF, it combines them both up, and so you have them all in one PDF. And as I said, I've been prepping and buying a whole bunch of stuff. I'm actually waiting for 2 decks of cards to come in the mail. They might even be sitting out there waiting in my mailbox, because gunslingers, you'll see that they use poker cards to determine if there's any additional effects, both positive or negative, for any time that you fire a firearm. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. And as I said, I'm running the Horror from the Mound. This is a Robert E. Howard original story, and I'm basically taking this and taking some of the major aspects of this short story, and then fleshing it out and expanding it a little bit to turn it into a 3-hour or so one-shot adventure. So really psyched about taking Robert E. Howard, my favorite author, and since he was really the forefather of not just sword and sorcery, but of Weird West stories as well. So really great matchup between the two, and I am going to continue converting more of Robert E. Howard's short stories, his Weird West stories, and using Weird Frontiers in order to run them. I also have Deadlands as well, and I might actually create versions of these adventures using Deadlands. I have that right here. I have the first edition of Deadlands, or at least I think this is the first edition of Deadlands. And I was considering using this for the con. It might be easier, but I'm already committed to using Weird Frontier, so I'm going to continue doing that. And like I said, I will write the adventure compatible with that game system as well, and I can probably run them both at the the following convention and see which one goes better. All right, so I hope you like this video. Please consider subscribing. Continue leaving your questions and comments. Thumbs up if you like the video. And if there's anything else you'd like for me to take a look at, please feel free to put that in there. Coming up, I've already advertised it, but I do have an interview coming up on Sunday, so be on the lookout for that. I've already posted it on the website. I've already put in a video announcing that interview. So if you're free Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, please feel free to drop in during that live stream while I'm interviewing the key creative team behind Mystic Days RPG, and they're getting ready to run their newest Kickstarter for Mystic Days, the special Clyde Caldwell edition, where Clyde Caldwell's art is being included in their newest Kickstarter. So really excited about that as well. So please feel free to join in on that. And as always, enjoy the rest of your week. I look forward to seeing you on the gaming screen sometime soon. For the 5 people that are playing in my game on, at ShireCon on September 15th, really looking forward to seeing some of you again, because I know we've crossed paths in the past, but really looking forward to running that game for you. And then I'm looking forward to the games that I will be involved with as a player on Saturday. So, as always, have a great day. Enjoy. Keep on playing. Keep on, just enjoying the time in this hobby, playing a variety of games, and, just keep on broadening your horizons by playing multiple games, playing different genres, and with different groups of players as well. So have a great afternoon. Take care.